Good evening, and welcome to the Public Council meeting for the Town of Conception Bay South for this Tuesday, May the 2nd, 2023. Do not adjust your screens or restart your computers. Mayor Bent is away for a couple of days, and as your Deputy Mayor, I have the pleasure to chair the meeting this evening. So our first thing that as we start all of our meetings, is our land acknowledgement. The Town of Conception Bay South would like to respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Beothuk and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Beothuk. We also respectfully acknowledge Labrador as the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Innu of Nitassinan, the Inuit of Nunatsiavut, and the Inuit of Nunatukavut. We strive for respectful partnerships with all the peoples of this province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation and honor this beautiful land together. So the first item on our agenda, the next item on our agenda is the adoption of agendas and minutes. The adoption of the meeting agenda for May 2nd, 2023. Do I have a motion? Councillor Butler and a seconder, Councillor Hardy. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Next item is the adoption of the meeting minutes for our meeting this evening. Do I have a motion? Councillor Hillier and a seconder. Councillor Connors. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Business arriving from previous minutes is taken care of in our committee meetings and is carried forward. Our next item is visitor presentations and petitions. And this evening we have 3 proclamations. And the first one being the proclamation for Municipal Awareness Week, which I will read. Proclamation Municipal Awareness Week, May 8th to the 12th, 2023. Whereas municipal government is responsible for the provision of services that enhance the quality of life of its citizens, and whereas dedicated mayors, councillors, and staff are essential for the effective governance of their municipalities. And whereas collaboration, partnerships, and citizen involvement are essential for active, sustainable, and vibrant communities. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize and encourage the contribution of all who work diligently for the improvement of our municipalities. Therefore, be it proclaimed that May 8th to the 12th, 2023, be known as Municipal Awareness Week in municipalities of Newfoundland and Labrador, in recognition of the vital role of municipal government and in recognition of all those efforts that support it. I hereby declare May 8th to the 12th, 2023, Municipal Awareness Week in the Town of Conception Bay South. And our next item is another proclamation for Safety and Health Week, and Councillor Hardy will bring this forward.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Proclamation for Safety and Health Week. May 1st to the 6th has been designated as this year's Safety and Health Week. Government, employers, and workers across Canada will take time out of their normal activities to promote the importance of preventing injury and illness in the workplace and at home. The goal of Safety and Health Week activities and events is to focus the attention on this important topic and encourage them to equip themselves with tools, information, and knowledge, and to educate each other with positive attitudes and behaviors that will convey commitment and confidence at work, at home, and in the community. The Safety and Health Week logo, 3 hands forming an equilateral triangle, symbolizes joint venture, cooperation, and commitment to the common goal shared by all occupational health and safety partners. We are pleased to proclaim May 1st to the 6th, 2023 to be Safety and Health Week in the town of Conception Bay South.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. And we have one more proclamation, the proclamation for Mental Health Week, and Councillor Butler will read that for us.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Proclamation Mental Health Week 2023. Whereas CMHA Mental Health Week promotes mental health awareness through education campaigns, activities and events held across Newfoundland and Labrador, and offers practical ways to maintain and improve mental health and support recovery from mental health problems and illnesses. Whereas the Canadian Mental Health Association encourages everyone to get loud for mental health, to speak up and take action to improve mental health for all Canadians. Whereas increased awareness and understanding of mental health will promote the use of mental health services and supports and ensure Canadians with mental health problems and illnesses are afforded the opportunity to recover. Whereas the Canadian Mental Health Association actively supports and encourages good mental health in all aspects of our lives during CMHA Mental Health Week and throughout the year. Therefore, be resolved that I, Christine Butler, Councillor with the Town of Conception Bay South, hereby proclaim the week of May 1st to 7, 2023 as CMHA Mental Health Week. I encourage all citizens to join me and hashtag get loud about what mental health really is. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Next item is new business. So we're going to start over with Councillor Hillier this evening. Thank you, Councillor Hillier. It certainly was a great announcement. And as you said, it takes many people, many layers of government, and everyone working together to bring forward such a great project. And next on to Councillor Connors.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was at a town for the last meeting and for our annual volunteer awards appreciation night. So I just want to take this time to congratulate our Youth of the Year, Leah Casey, and our Citizen of the Year, Noreen Taylor. So I know Noreen for a long time, I suppose, or been involved with some of the things that she's been involved with, and she is certainly a great representative for a great person to be chosen Citizen of the Year, and she probably could be a Citizen of the Year for a number of years. So congratulations to all the winners and to all the nominees, as well as all the volunteers in our community. And this being Municipal Awareness Week, I also want to take the opportunity to say thank you to our management and staff and for providing the essential services and program which make CBS the great town that we are. And I want to recognize the tremendous contribution that they make to our town. So thank you to the management and staff of CBS. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Councillor Connors. And next is Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of things this evening. Last week was the largest high school hockey tournament in the province. There were 16 boys teams and 12 girls teams representing 19 schools. So I wanted to do a huge shout out to the Queen Elizabeth Pioneers female team, as they were the winners of the Beaumont Hamel Centennial Cup in the hockey tournament. So it was a big deal, especially it's the first time having females in the tournament. So a big shout out to all those ladies. Secondly, I wanted to follow up to what Councillor Hillier was saying. So Friday, April 21st was a huge day in the Ward 4 in Seal Cove. Mayor Bent, along with MP Ken McDonald from the federal government, and the Honourable John Abbott representing the provincial government. They were all in attendance as they announced 3 funding projects aimed at enhancing the tourism initiatives and boosting consumption-based health economy. So it was a great day. Lots of spectators for the announcement. And so we're actually going to receive 1.4 million in funding that will see the development of one of the town's most cherished tourism assets, the Conception Bay South Trailway. The funding will go towards upgrading the last 3.2 kilometers of the 18-kilometer trail. So it's going to create that continuous accessible transportation route on the northeast Avalon, and included in the project is a trestle replacement at the Seal Cove Pond, which is a very critical piece of infrastructure along the route, which also provides access to Conception Bay. So being a lifelong resident of CBS, this was huge. It was a big cherry on the top for the replacement of the trestle, and a big shout out to all of the folks in the Seal Cove area. They were very patient and huge advocates in such a respectful way. So I loved working with Carl and Calvin Morgan, as we certainly did the last couple of years. So certainly want to do a shout out to all the residents, and it was a big day for Ward 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. And over to Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have a few items tonight. Not as many of us around, so you always want to make sure that you try and get everything in. To piggyback on Councillor Hardy announcing Queenie winning the first ever new girls division for the Royal Newfoundland Regiment Memorial High School Tournament. I also wanted to shout out to Maggie Bussey, who won the Sportsmanship Award, and Molly Gill, who was MVP. So that was a wonderful thing to see. Also, I want to congratulate the 2020 RISE Awards Conception Bay South residents, Corey Matthews and Melissa Smith. And I wish them good luck in their future studies. Next, Councillor Hardy, Deputy Mayor Goss, and myself hosted the First Long Pond Pathfinders group at the town hall last week. And as part of their getting badges, they had to learn about women in politics. So it was a fun evening. We did a tour of the building and upstairs and down here, and showed them what purpose of each room is. And we had a great conversation and chat, and they got their pictures taken in the mayor's chair, the ones that wanted to. And they all left me with questions for the mayor, and the mayor's not here tonight, so I'm going to hold on to those questions for him for when he gets back. So he'll have a bit of fun with that. Senior Spring Fling is next Thursday. Yeah. So don't forget, get your tickets. Okay, now's the big one. And I got permission from these two people before I thought I'd announce it. This is something really wonderful. This is the story of two people who were strangers, and because of our Walking for Wellness program, they've met. They now are in a relationship. They're both together. They're beautiful people. And I'm talking about Gary and Judy. And if anybody follows Gary on Facebook, they know who I'm talking about. They met the fall of 2020 in Walking for Wellness. They think that's about when it was. And they connected again during 2021. And by early 2022, they were meeting regularly to walk outside of the group. Like the group would stop and then they continue on with their walk. And Gary and Judy walk approximately 8 kilometers every day in the community. So they took up a challenge. They took our waste collection calendar, and marked off every street. They walked every street, road, lane in the town. They started on March 13th, finished on April 25th. They walked on 38 of those 44 days. Notable numbers were 481 streets, roads, lanes, places, and highways. The total distance walked in those 6 weeks was 284.72 kilometers, or an average of 7.5. Now,
Wow.
as Deputy Mayor Goss made a comment to me, she said, "That's wonderful. I love their story. They found friendship, hope, health, and then love." And not only that, they talk about the health part. Gary has lost an enormous amount of weight and is taking care of his health so much more now, and so is Judy. So they gave me permission to tell this story. And I also said that maybe the Shoreline might want to do a little community feel-good story. So they've also given permission for Craig to reach out if he wants to. So anyway, Gary and Judy, kudos to you. I think that's a wonderful thing you're doing, and keep walking.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. That surely is a really heartwarming story. And I know Gary, I've met him a lot during the last few years. And when you had posted about it, yeah, there's some really great things that come out of the wellness program, and that's certainly one of them. I'll just make mention of a couple of things. Councillor Butler already mentioned the senior spring fling, which is May 11th, Thursday, May 11th, 12 to 3 at the Royal Canadian Legion. And seniors can get their tickets here at the town hall. And these events, so, you know, it's lunch and music and camaraderie. It's a lot of fun. Many of us councillors when we have the opportunity, we go out and help out with the event, and it's always well attended and a lot of fun. So it's not to be missed. I just want to make mention of, it's been mentioned here a couple of times about National Volunteer Week and our volunteers of the year, our Citizen of the Year and our Youth Volunteer of the Year. There were a number of nominations. The Citizen of the Year nominees were Jennifer Bent, Angie Porter, Andrea Bishop, Woodrow French, Tracy Lawrence, and Noreen Taylor. And many of us have worked with Noreen Taylor over the years. If you're a volunteer, you had to have crossed paths with her. I know I have many times, but you know, she's been very active her whole life pretty much in Girl Guiding. From the time she finished Girl Guiding, she became a volunteer. She's coaches Special Olympics, helps with Children's Wish, CBS minor softball, school councils. It just goes on. And any time that we've put out the volunteer call for a major event here in the town, such as the 2016 Summer Games and the Pinty's Curling, Noreen was ready. She was one of the first ones with her application in, and anything, she'd take her vacation time to come volunteer, you know, to be involved in those kinds of events. So congratulations to Noreen Taylor. Our town is lucky to have people like her. And the Youth Volunteer of the Year, we had 2 nominees, Chad Hiscock and Leah Casey. And Leah Casey was a selected Youth Volunteer of the Year for 2022. She volunteers with the community gardens. She was on the steering committee, steer many of the events related to the community gardens, such as leading the planting and maintenance, the annual pumpkin stroll, tours, scavenger hunts. She volunteers with Holy Spirit Environmental Committee, volunteers with Chamberlain's Park, CBS Youth Advisory, Relay for Life, Manuals River, Chefs for Trails. So congratulations to Leah Casey, another outstanding volunteer who, you know, our community is lucky to have her, and I'm sure she'll continue to volunteer. And one of these days she might be our Citizen of the Year. So that's a few things that I wanted to bring to mention here this evening. So all that good news, we'll get into the business of the town. Once I get back into my computer. There we go. So our next item on our agenda is the recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee, and I turn it over to our chair of the committee, Councillor Hillier.
Yes, your worship, these are recommendations coming from our April 24th committee meeting brought forward this evening for ratification. First one, 6A, 64 Open Drive. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15 of the town's fence regulations, application 2616 received on March 31st, 2023 for a front yard fence on the property of 64 Oakland Drive be refused. So moved.
We have a seconder. Councillor Hardy, discussion?
Yes, your worship, this development, which Oakland Drive is one of the streets, is a new development within the town. And we don't encourage front yard fences in the new areas, in new developments. Hence, we refuse this one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
6B, 2224 Cherry Lane. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 5.32 and 3.12 of the town's development regulations, application number 2596 received on March 23rd, 2023 for the development of a residential accessory building with lot coverage of 87.12 square meters at 2224 Cherry Lane be approved. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors. Discussion?
Yes, your worship, there's some concern about what this accessory building will be used for and among the residents in the area, and we just want to assure them that this is simply a residential accessory building, garage or shed for storage, like many of us have on our own properties.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
6C, 3 Indian Pond Drive. Be it so resolved that in accordance with council's discretionary authority of sections 13A and 15 of the town's fence regulations, application number 2657 received April 14, 2023 for a front and flanking street side yard fence be approved. So moved.
Second, Councillor Butler. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
And your worship, the final resolution. Be it so resolved that decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on April 24, 2023 be accepted as presented. And the topics listed below that were discussed that did not require recommendations coming forward tonight. Notice is published and notice that we have in the local media 464 Dunsville Road and an update from the department. So be it so resolved that decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on April 24, 2023 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
Thank you, your worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Next on our agenda is recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee from the committee, Councillor, the Chair, Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. 7A, approval to award Minerals Road upgrade. Be it so resolved that approval is given to award Minerals Road upgrade tender to Eric Taylor Limited at a cost of $224,308.52, including HST pending all provincial permits approvals. So moved.
Do we want to look at that number?
Need to read the.
It's 2 million, I think.
Move your decimal bit.
Sorry, I don't have my
We
glasses.
don't want to. I don't either, but
I don't have my glasses on. Sorry. 2,024,308.52. Thank you. So moved.
do we have a seconder? Seconder, Councillor Connors, thank you. Any discussion?
Yes, the tender actually closed on March 30th. There was 5 bids and award is pending the final permit approval, but it's anticipated to be received within the days to come. And construction is expected to begin in late spring and will continue throughout the summer. As construction details are confirmed, the public will also be informed.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
7B, approval to dispose Unit 104. Be it so resolved that approval is given to dispose Unit 104, a 1992 grader. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Butler. Discussion?
Yes, so this here is just our 1992 John Deere grader. It's actually become obsolete in the town's fleet services. The fleet's been maintained for several years and the maintenance costs are at the point where it's outweighing its services. So it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it comes to a point where you just have to say, okay, well, things need to be replaced. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried.
7C. Sorry, approval to award the Trailway Phase 4 trestle replacement. Be it so resolved that approval is given to enter into a prime consultant agreement with Harborside Engineering Consultants for design and contract administration services related to the replacement of the Trailway Phase 4 trestle at a cost of $76,000 plus HST, and funds are available in the project account. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hillier. Discussion?
Your Worship, railway would have gone through there about 130 years ago. So hopefully this trestle will be as durable as that one.
Stand that test of time.
Absolutely. And it's anticipated the construction will take place later this summer. And again, as more information comes out, we'll certainly ensure the public is engaged.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Contramanded? Motion carried.
All right, so before I give our committee meeting updates, I just want to remind residents that the bulk waste drop off begins this Saturday, May 6th, with some other dates, the 13th and 27th of May as well. And construction is ongoing at the Cedar Crest Middle Bight Road area, so just use caution and certainly check the town's website for any other delays in the town.
Thank you, Counselor Hardy.
So, sorry. I'll just do the blanket
Yeah.
recommendation. No worries. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions of the Engineering and Public Works Committee held on April 26 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Butler. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried. Now, thank you, Counselor Hardy. Our next item is the recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. Our chair is not with us this evening, so we have Counselor Connors.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have the blanket recommendation, but before I read that, there's a couple of things I just want to mention. If you want to register your child for ball hockey and you're watching this, you should go to your computer and get on because registration is ongoing now. And we'll continue until the program is full. Summer camp registration starts on May 18th at 6 p.m. So everyone should be ready for that. There is we're this year we're looking for a request for proposals for the Topsail Beach Canteen. It's a potential business opportunity if someone is interested. And if you want information on that, please go to our website and you can download the request for proposals. And finally, watch our website. 50th anniversary events are continuously ongoing as we move through the year. And keep an eye on the website too to see what's happening next. And with that, I will say, be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee meeting of April 25th, 2023 be accepted as presented. There's a list attached of the discussion items. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hillier. Discussion? All discussed. All in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried. Thank you, Counselor Connors. Our next item is down to the recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee, and Counselor Butler, as a member of that committee, will be bringing forward the motions this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Start with 9A, ratification of the collective agreement for the town of Conception Bay South and QP Local 3034. Be it so resolved that approval be given to execute the collective agreement between the town of Conception Bay South and QP Local 3034 as negotiated. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hillier, discussion?
Yes, Deputy Mayor. The town of Conception Bay South is pleased to report that a new collective agreement has been reached with our union, QP Local 3034. We would like to thank both teams for their dedication and cooperation in coming to a successful negotiated outcome. We look forward to another 4 years of labor harmony with our unionized workforce, who work tirelessly towards providing residents with the important services they have come to rely upon. On behalf of council, I would like to thank them for their continued contributions. Thank you.
All in favor?
All right.
Contrabanded? Motion carries.
Okay, 9B. I will apologize if I say this wrong. Ketipnik Gala. Be it so resolved that approval be given for Mayor Bent to attend the annual Ketipnik Gala to be held on May 27th, 2023 at a cost of $100. Funds are available in account as so noted. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hardy, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrabanded? Motion carried.
The next few items will be about paying for our bills and capital invoices, paying for all our work that's being done in the town and to improve everything in our town that we provide our residents. Accounts payable checks. For it to come up there. Here we go. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $493,032.84 as per the attached listing. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hardy, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrabanded? Motion carried.
Next is manual checks, 9D. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks totaling $566,975.13. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Connors, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrabanded? Motion carried.
And 9E, capital invoice approval. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $67,138.25 as per the attached listing. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hardy, discussion? All in favor? Contrabanded? Motion carried.
And 9F is our departmental report. Be it so resolved that the decisions, recommendations made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of April 26, 2023 be accepted as presented, and you'll see a list of the items that were discussed. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hillier, discussion? All in favor? Contrabanded? Motion carried. Thank you, Counselor Butler. Appreciate that. And the next item on our agenda are the recommendations of economic development and tourism from our chair, Counselor Connors.
Thank you, Your Worship. These are the recommendations from our April 26th meeting. First one is 10A, Global Affairs Funding. It's so resolved that approval be given to enter into a contribution agreement with Global Affairs Canada for funding through the Can Export Program for funding total $34,502.50 to be used towards enhancement of investment attraction tools, marketing efforts, and opportunity exploration. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hillier, discussion?
Yes, I'll just give a little bit of a background on this. We were successful with our application to this program. The funds are going to be used to offset the cost associated with the analysis of the renewable energy opportunities and the development of an action plan for that sector for our town. Funds are also going to be used to allow staff to attend 2 international energy conferences, as well as offset the costs associated with enhancing the town's website resources. The total funding approved is $34,502.50, which requires 50% matching funds, and the matching funds are available in our economic development budget, operating budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried.
Our next few recommendations are ratifications of approximately 1.4 million recently announced for our trailway development by MP McDonald, Minister Abbott, and Mayor Bent. And these are for the replacement of the trestle that has been mentioned and further development of the trailway in that area. 10B, Trailway Phase 4 Active Transportation Fund. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the acceptance of financing from Infrastructure Canada Active Transportation Fund in the amount of $711,458 to offset costs associated with the Trailway Phase 4 development project. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion?
This represents 51% of the overall budget project cost.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried.
10C, Trailway Phase 4 Regional Development Fund. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the acceptance of financing from the provincial government of Department of Industry, Energy and Technology Regional Development Fund in the amount of $338,107 to offset costs associated with the Trailway Phase 4 development project. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hardy. Discussion?
This represents 24% of the overall budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried.
So 10D, Trailway Phase 4 Community Revitalization Fund. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the acceptance of financing from ACOA Community Revitalization Fund in the amount of $100,000 to offset costs associated with the Trailway Phase 4 development project. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion?
This represents 7% of the overall budget.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried.
10E, Trailway Phase 4 Trans-Canada Trail. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the acceptance of financing from Trans-Canada Trail for the funding totaling $75,000 associated with the Trailway Phase 4 project. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier. Discussion?
This represents 5%.
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit, we're getting there.
We're getting there. We're close.
Oh, we're almost, well, this is the last one coming up now.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contramanded? Motion carried.
And 10F, Trailway Phase 4, the town commitment, be it so resolved that the approval be given to ratify the approval of funding from the town of Conception Bay South in the amount of $175,315 to offset costs associated with the Trailway Phase 4 development project. Funds will come from capital out of revenue over the next 2 years. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion?
So this represents 13%, but I think it's pretty good that for $1.4 million, town only has to contribute $175,000.
That's awesome. That's amazing. When you get all those different funding opportunities come together and we only have that much to contribute. And yet we're going to see this come to fruition and complete the trailway, plus get a new trestle, and it's fantastic, isn't it?
I think this goes to the work that our staff have put into this
Yeah.
over the past while, like putting all these funding programs together. That's 5 or 6 funding programs. I think
Yeah.
that's a challenge in itself, getting them all to match and be able to do it. So I think that's kudos to our staff for doing
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Lots of work went into getting to here, and time and work. All in favor? Who's not in favor of that? I contraminded, motion carried.
And now we have our blanket recommendation of the things that were discussed but didn't require a direct recommendation. So be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of April 26, 2023 be accepted as presented. A list of discussion topics are attached. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Butler. Discussion. No discussion, all in favor? Contraminded, motion carried. And that ends our agenda with regards to our committee reports. As you know, we all sit on other committees outside of our regular committees. Does anybody have any reports to bring forward since the last time we met? No. I had one meeting since our last council meeting, and that was with our Youth Advisory Council, our Youth Advisory Committee. And this is our group of youth that we work with, and they get involved in town events and help us out with some town events from time to time. And then we help them sometimes with their initiatives. And we had a really good meeting. There was a lot of great ideas. This is only our second meeting. The Youth Advisory Committee kind of through COVID, it was non-existent, and we've been trying to get things going and moving again. And so there was a lot of great ideas came forward at the meeting this time. They're really excited. They've got a couple of ideas which I can't share because it's really secret till they get them brought together. But they had a couple ideas for some great events for youth and to celebrate the 50th anniversary. So we're meeting again. We're meeting, I believe, in 2 weeks, and we're going to start working on one of the events. They actually have 4 or 5 ideas. They're really excited. So I expect we're going to see some great things coming forward with this group. And I also put it out there that it's never too late to join this group. If anybody knows of any youth that would like to be a part of this committee, it's a great opportunity to do some volunteer work or do some get to work with a group here in the town and get involved. And so that's my report on the Youth Advisory Committee. So that brings us to the end of our meeting. And so I would like to thank my council colleagues and our senior staff and for their being here tonight. And our next public meeting is Tuesday, May the 16th, and Mayor Bent will be back here in his chair. We welcome him back in his chair. And that's it. That's it for us for this evening. I would like to call for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Hardy, seconder. We need a seconder for that. Councillor Butler, we got a seconder. I want to thank everybody and say, just take care, everyone, and good night.